Although budgies are sociable birds, they are also aggressive.
Cutie.
If you have two budgies in the same cage, they will always clash over water, space, or even mating. This aggression is constant, but often ends in seconds. The normal aspects of a budgie society consist of the usual outbursts for toys, clashes over friends, or struggles for territories. So then, if nothing gets out of hand during these moments of aggression, you have no reason to worry about it. Avian research shows that 99% of budgies will be aggressive about mates, territories, friends, food, or space. And this will end shortly. However, if you realize that your budgie is particularly aggressive with one specific fellow and even hurts him, you may need to separate them lest they hurt each other badly. So then, let's find out the probable causes of aggression in birds, how to spot them, and stop them. Struggle for resources. The main reason why budgies will be aggressive is the struggle for food. This often happens when you have two or more birds in the same cage. Otherwise, if you have a single budgie in a cage, the struggle for resources will not be the reason for sudden aggression. When two or more budgies share a cage, they will often scramble for food, just like other birds, including chickens. Besides, budgies can be aggressive over mates. Once a female budgie has identified with a particular male budgie, it's natural for her to want him for herself only. Budgies may grow aggressive to protect their territory. They feel a sense of ownership and may want only themselves to belong to a particular territory, leading to fights. The other resource budgies can fight over is space. They may not want to share their space. New routines. Another factor that can lead to a budgie's sudden aggression is a new routine. For instance, if you buy a bird that was not used to hand feeding in the aviary and start hand feeding him when you start taming him, the budgie may become aggressive. This is true especially because the bird considers the activity completely new to him. New routines often cause aggression in budgies when they are new to an environment and have not acclimated to the new home. Even training sessions can make a budgie aggressive before he gets used to them. So then, be gentle with your budgie, taking a step at a time. Do not overwhelm him with training after training. Rather, let the process be mutual and allow the bird to gain your trust before a successful training session. Lack of proper socialization. Many budgies owe their sudden aggression to a lack of socialization in their earlier lives. For instance, when you bring your feathered friend home, you may start cuddling him and petting him, even hugging him often. While other budgies may get used to this really fast, others may not. This could be a completely new experience to them as they lacked proper socialization in the aviary. Some owners force birds to eat. When the birds refuse to eat, they hit the bird. This equally amounts to mistreatment, which translates to aggression later in life. Hormonal changes. Just like the other reasons that have been highlighted in the previous sections, hormonal changes could stir sudden aggression in your budgie. This happens mostly during adolescence. The birds experience a couple of changes related to hormones when they are in adolescence, just like human beings. The hormonal changes evidently affect the bird's emotions, causing him to be suddenly aggressive. During this stage, the bird starts noticing and developing attraction for the fellows of the opposite sex, which could explain the changes. The hormonal changes make them more inclined to protect themselves and their significant other. In the process, the bird becomes aggressive. We have decided to use today's video to discuss signs that your budgie hates you. So, if you don't know what to look out for, you've come to the right place. Here are 5 signs your budgie hates you. Flying and jumping in the cage crazily. If your budgie constantly flies and jumps around their cage erratically whenever you come around, you should be concerned. This is usually a sign of fear and is commonly observed when you first bring a budgie home, particularly when you reach out for it. But if you've had your budgie for a while and he is already hand-trained, chances are that he hates you. If the flying and jumping around persists, you'll have to reduce your trips to your budgie's cage first as you try to get them to warm up to you. Biting your fingers. Budgies and other birds don't regularly bite the fingers of their owners. So, if this is what is happening with your bird, you should look into it. It could mean that the bird is in pain or discomfort, warranting a visit to the vet. On the other hand, it could be a sign that your bird is stressed, afraid, or feels like it should defend itself against you. In such cases, this behavior is usually accompanied by them lunging towards you. So, if your budgie exhibits this behavior and has no underlying medical condition, there's a chance they hate you. Getting nervous when you enter the room. When a budgie hates you, they feel nervous when you're around and generally do everything they can to get away from you. This desire can make them stick to the corners of their cages when you come around, especially when you stretch your hands towards them. It can also make your budgie refuse to eat when you're around because they feel like lowering their neck to do so makes them vulnerable to attacks from you. Tremble and pant. Pass liquid poop. Widen their eyes. Flapping its wings when you approach. It's normal for budgies to flap their wings from time to time. They do this in the morning to stretch and can also do it as a form of exercise. However, if they only do this erratically when you approach, it's a sign that they hate or at least dislike you. Screaming a lot. Another sign that your budgie hates you is that they scream a lot whenever you're around them. This usually means that they're scared of you or view you as an intruder. Whichever the case, you'll need to find a way to get this sorted out. Why does your budgie hate you? Once you establish that your budgie hates you, it's time to figure out why. While sometimes you can figure this out on your own, sometimes you'll have to get a vet involved. Some common reasons include unfamiliarity. Budgies take a while to adapt to change. They shy away from unfamiliar people and situations. So, if you just got your budgie, they are going to be unsettled and scared for a while before they get used to you. Insisting on playing with the uncomfortable budgie will only make them hate you more and more. Mistrust. If a budgie mistrusts you, they will hate and reject you. Fortunately, hand-reared budgies who have been seeing you around are usually trusting. However, old budgies are a whole different story. They take a lot of time to trust people. Triggers. Budgies can hate and reject you simply because you trigger them in some way. Something as minor as wearing a shirt in a color they don't like is enough to get them to dislike you. So, to maintain harmony, it is best to keep track of your budgie's triggers. Some common ones include mirrors. These can confuse budgies. Earthquakes. Sounds from predators. The smell of dogs, cats, and other pets that live in your home. The death of a flock member. Introversion. If your budgie is introverted, they may not like being touched and pet by humans, regardless of whether they are their owners. So, if you've been constantly doing this, it may be the reason that they don't like you. In such cases, it is best to get your budgie another budgie to be their friend. Trauma due to abuse. Budgies have a good memory. they don't just disregard their past. So if your budgie has been abused before, it will affect how they behave today. In fact, this experience can make them short with you and make it easier for them to act hatefully toward you. What should you do if your budgie hates you? Even if your budgie hates you, all's not lost. There are some things you can do to win them over. These include: be gentle and patient with your bird. Wait for a while before you approach your budgie. Feed your budgie a variety of foods. See which one they like most and use that as a treat. Familiarize your bird with your hands so that they can see there's nothing to be afraid of. You can start by showing them your hands for a few minutes every day. Keep this up for 1 or 2 weeks. Once they're comfortable, you can start feeding them treats using your hands. Always reward your budgie's good behavior with petting and treats. Remember to speak softly to them as well. Don't cuddle your budgie when they're uncomfortable. Introduce a new toy to your budgie slowly. Place it outside the cage for a few weeks first. Watch next, previous video, or how and when to introduce a second budgie. Visit our official webpage for more information and budgie care.